Well, what I learned from the first game is that you obviously got to play for 40 minutes, but it also starts with us taking care of the basketball. We had too many empty possessions. Our inability to score was very glaring in that first game. And after watching the game, went back and clipped about 20 plays where I thought we should have made the extra pass, or we could have made the extra pass to give somebody else an easier look. And so from that point, our team has really taken initiative in being better offensively. And we're putting up more points on the board. But the play of Mitchell and Afua has really gone to another level since we played them. And we expect that of them come tomorrow. But it's got to be a 40-minute basketball game where you're in an attack mode, but you got to attack and be smart about what you're doing.
What about playing against McCowan? I mean, she creates a lot of issues, and y'all have seen her a lot. And what can you do with her?
I think you've got to stand your ground and beat her to the spot. And, we don't want to get into this pushing match or what have you. You got to play smart. You got to play with a level of quickness as well. The size advantage that she presents, you're going to have to disrupt the basketball so it doesn't see her as easily. And she's somebody that really controls the paint. So from a defensive side of the basketball, you can't go in there out of control. You can't go in there without a purpose. If she is to rotate, the next logical pass would be a dump pass or a kick. Playing her away from the basket. You see a lot of teams doing that, but she's really recovering fairly quickly on the closeout. So just being smart with a player like that. And then again, holding our ground where we're at that spot and not allowing her to displace us, that's going to be key as well.
Kind of always expect that kind of play from Ayanna, but what has really allowed Faustine to kind of break out these past couple of weeks?
Well, she's taken on more ownership of the scoring. She's someone who is being more aggressive with her rebounding. She's averaging almost a double-double now in SEC play over the last few games. And she's a player that we can move around. We don't have to just stick her on the low block. We can let her flash into the high post. She can come down in that trail area and knock that shot down. And she's been working on her game. So I see her confidence getting better and better as the season is going along based on the experience that she's getting.
You talk about playing for 40 minutes. You guys came out slow against Kentucky. How do you guys not do that same thing against Mississippi State? How do you guys come out with that fire and intensity that you guys had in the second half versus Kentucky?
It really starts with your mindset and knowing that it's going to be a battle night in and night out, and you can't have empty possessions. And we had too many empty possessions in the first quarter. We are obviously one of the best defensive teams in the country, but our offense has to match the same level of confidence, the same level of grit that you have on the defensive side of the ball. We've got to get that on the offensive side of the ball. We got to take that same attitude of I can't be stopped. You're going to have a hard time keeping me off the boards. But the two things on the road that you have to have is layups and free throws. And in our two Kentucky losses, that's plagued us. We're getting shots. We're getting any look that we want. We've got to have the mental toughness to knock those shots down.
You guys are 500 right now. How big is it to finish strong going into the SEC tournament? You guys will be an 8 seed and it ended today. So how big is building that momentum now versus Mississippi State and then Auburn on Sunday?
It's huge. It's going to be a deciding factor for us. We've got to make sure that we don't go into a game like Mississippi State just settling. You got to go in there with a Warriors mentality, and you've got to make sure that you're positioning yourselves as high as you can for the tournament. There's plenty of teams in that cluster where you go 2-0 down the stretch here, and we could be possibly in conversation for 5th place. So we've got an opportunity to really do something special on Thursday, and I just want our kids to enjoy the opportunity to go in and play in a hostile environment, to play on a court that has one of the, if not two, top 10 draft picks. So to me, the way that you gauge how good you are is by the talent that you play against. And I want our kids to be competitive and have that competitive spirit to go in there and do just that.
Speaking of that, I asked the girls the confidence level, playing against these top players, and then also just being at the middle of the pack right now. Do they believe that they could, again, go 2-0 down the stretch?
Well, I showed them on the board how close they were right now to sitting in 4th place. I showed them how close they were in being one of the top teams in our league. When you drop 4 games with 3 possessions or less, that's how close they are. I've showed them and talked to them about, we're a young basketball team where we've got kids that never started, now are in starting positions, kids who played last year 1 year, and now you're our go-to. Faustina Fu was only a sophomore. Kayla Pointer only a sophomore. Shanice Norton saw limited time through her career. But they are on one of the biggest stages in America, and they are competing at a high level. And on any given night, and we always say this in the SEC, a team can be beaten. And talking to them about the confidence, that's something that is done when nobody else is watching. You got to fill your confidence tank by getting in the gym extra. It can't just be what is on a practice plan. You've got to do your scouting report, not when we're scouting, but you're at home and you're able to watch film and watch for yourself. That's when that belief and that confidence really come into play.
Because since Raquel went down, there's been a couple of different people in that 5th starting position. What have you seen from those girls like Mercedes and Jalen stepping in there?
Well, it gives us a versatile lineup. The loss of Spencer was huge. She was really becoming a missing part of the puzzle, if you will, because of her athleticism, because of Spencer's ability to get to the rack. She's a great rebounder. We were putting her on some of the best offensive players, which allowed Shanice Norton to wreak havoc on the point guard. And now we're having to finagle that a little bit, but the play of our bench is going to be key no matter what. And if you're starting, if we pull a starter, obviously we're going to pull a starter who wasn't one, but you've got to be ready to answer the call when your name is being called. You got to be ready, and that's what we're hoping will happen down the stretch, is that everybody's going to be ready to go and give us something positive. But the one thing that you can always give us is your energy, and positive energy and a positive mindset will more than likely result in positive results. And so we're really focusing in on making sure that they're ready to go at the tip whenever your name is being called.